What's the name of the show again? The Kickout.
That's it. No.
Right, yeah, okay. This is the Ultra Star Angel Cruise, and you're listening to... Sorry, what's the name of your show again? The Kickout with Dave... What's your surname? Dave Cullen. Yeah, best, my favourite. Thank you.
The face that runs the place.
Long live living.
Goodbye and good night.
How's it going, folks? Welcome to another edition of The Kickouts, your weekly pro wrestling guides right here on 90.3 Near FM on all good podcasting providers, and for the first time on the Electric Media Collective Podcast Network, endorsed by the Ultra Star Angel Cruise. I've been Dave Cullen, and I'm joined by the inventor of TKO Pizza and Beverage, Daragh Maher. Daragh, how are you this afternoon?
Not too bad, Dave. Not too bad. How are you?
Following Impact Wrestling suit, well?
Yes, I have found some fantastic pizzas coming out.
Yeah.
Most notably some ham and pineapple.
Lots of cheese.
You
like
got a lot of cheese there. You got the we got the 5 cheese pizza there. We put an extra bit of cheese on that pizza.
Oh, I say
like
so.
5 slices of cheese, not 5 different cheeses, just 5 slices of cheese. All cheddar. We have the broccoli pizza.
Broccoli pizza?
Yeah, big seller, very big seller.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, bodybuilders.
For broccoli, for them?
For broccoli, yeah.
What happened to that?
Yeah.
What happened to the meats thing? The multi-meats or something?
The multi-meat. Yes, we do have the multi-meat.
Yeah, wouldn't that be for bodybuilders? For the protein?
Well, there is that too, but broccoli, then you at least get one of your 5 vegetables that you need per day on it. You know?
Fair enough.
And you get your dairy source through the cheese as well.
Very health conscious.
So, there you go.
There
Exactly.
you go.
Exactly. And then we have multiple lovely drinks, you could say too. We have some lemonade, with TK lemonade, you know.
TK lemonade.
We have spring
TKO lemonade, you mean?
Spring. Oh, very good. We have Spring County Orange.
Spring County Orange.
Oh yes, we have some Spring
complete
County
with St. Bernard's Coke.
Yes. Oh yes. And we have some Finch's Rock Shandy there to go with it.
Oh,
too.
lovely. Nothing but the best.
All the best. All at a very reasonable price with each pizza, a 9-inch pizza there you can share.
If that isn't a promo, I don't know what is.
You can share with a friend. It's not just €9 for whichever toppings you go for. Toppings, any extra toppings are 50 cents each. Now, and the drinks too, you get a lovely bottle of 500 milliliter drink. It's $2.50 per drink. Yes.
You found your calling. You found, like, what I love about it is like you talked about it with such enthusiasm as well. Like, so. There you go.
Oh, I was more enthusiastic about that than Impact were about talking about their own.
Anyway, we're coming to you live from the RFM studios in the beautiful North Dublin village of Coolock, and we'll be here for the next 2 hours bringing you all the latest news, results, previews, rumours and more from the world of professional wrestling. On this week's show, we'll be giving you all the latest news from the world of pro wrestling both here and abroad, viewing the past week's action from WWE, Raw, Smackdown, 205 Live and NXT, analysing our responses for our question of the week, and also previewing events coming up, including CCW's Celtic Chainsaw Massacre coming up next week. All that to come, but first we're going to start, as always, with the news.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Also, good news, everyone.
We're going to start with news concerning WWE's response to comments made over their drug policy last week. Dave Palumbo, who handles the nutrition and supplement of Triple H, made comments in a response to Matt Riviera's podcast that the WWE drug policy allows for use of hormone replacement therapy, in other words shooting testosterone, as well as HCG and HGH. The actual quote in question was, they were applied to take hormone replacement. they can go to a PHT place and get testosterone replacement, 100 mg a week. Whether it's prescribed nowadays, said Palumbo, a former well-known competitive bodybuilder. Those are acceptable. A lot of wrestlers do it, and it's not for me to say who's using what, but they're very minimal doses. On Monday, WWE responded to comments that Palumbo made by saying that it is misinformed on the subject, and the drug policy does not allow for use of those substances unless an endocrinologist, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and the WWE medical staff approve of it for legitimate medical use needs. So it's very interesting. Like, it seems like he sort of let a rabbit out of the hat there with the drug policy.
A little bit,
or certainly, if there is like conditions to it, like it seems like it's only for certain wrestlers, like Triple H, for example.
Yeah, but it sounds as though, like, especially with the last few sentences that he said there, that they need, they basically need a doctor's note to say that they can use it. That's similar to getting a doctor's note that you can get weed for your glaucoma. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure there's one endocrinologist that's there that supplies all of their needs. Wink, wink.
Surely, though, this is something that, especially with the wellness policy that they've encouraged, that it has to be like under control. There's no reason why it wouldn't be.
Well, that's why he says they're using very minimal doses.
Yeah, makes
probably
sense.
Probably, actually, those minimal doses probably won't show in a drug test.
Oh yeah,
possibly. And after all, he is Triple H's supplement. What is he? Nutritionist.
Yeah,
supplementation.
But he handles the supplements as well.
Yeah.
Like, so.
For Triple H, so Triple H kind of the boss too.
Still,
you know, if he wanted to do that, why would he need hormone replacement though? I'd be honest, I don't know enough about this stuff.
It's something that we first encountered when all this UFC stuff, like, you know, when the likes of Vitor Belfort and the likes were taking all this stuff, like, so.
Yeah.
So it's a weird subject, but at the same time, it thinks, well, what's going on, like, you know? So now, obviously, I'm not speculating that there's anything wrong with what they're doing. Like, there's not enough evidence to suggest that, but it makes you question. It makes you wonder: is he supposed to say that? Like, you know?
Yeah. I don't think, if he works that closely with Triple H, I don't think he would have said this stuff if he wasn't okay with them saying it. You know, maybe once he said it, people just got the wrong end of the stick, thinking that they're allowing their athletes, or not, their performers to drug themselves, which I don't think is the case. Like I just said, it's minimal doses. Like I said, I probably have to do a bit more research into find out how bad these doses are.
Yeah.
And what they are, what are the potential downfalls of using these. I'm guessing the advantages of using these is probably for muscle growth.
Yeah. Or muscle retention, especially with Triple H, who's in his 40s now. So
exactly. And the thing is, like, as much as on the road as often as WWE stars are, obviously now you follow their accounts, they are at the gym multiple times a week. Of course. Maybe they're not at the gym as many times as they like to be. You know, so they have to take something to keep their show muscles, as you could say, on there to see without actually having to keep up such a rigorous workout regime. That's what I'm thinking. Like I said, I don't know enough. I could be totally off the mark, and if I am, please tell me I am. I wouldn't
know enough. I really wouldn't know enough. Like it seems like one of these things where it's interesting, like because it almost seems like the way, because his own nutritionist is saying it, like that, like he's suggesting that he's taking something that maybe everyone else is not allowed to take, which is a problem. Like, no matter what we say, I don't care how big, I don't care if you're the owner or the co-owner or whatever. Like you shouldn't be taking it if it's under your policy. But we don't know enough to suggest if it like as WWE said, if it's prescribed, then there's no issue. Like, you know, then so we'll have to see if things develop. But in the meantime, we'll move on. Like, there's been a lot of stories over people leaving, and there's been also one concerning Nia Jax this week.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it was Neville last week. This week, there's been speculation that Nia Jax quit, but despite several reports circulating over the past week that Nia Jax walked out of WWE and has since quit, WrestlingNews.net can confirm that is not the case, as Nia Jax has been given personal absence from the company. Jax was originally meant to be on Raw this past week, with the belief that Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax was planned for the WWE TLC pay-per-view
Right.
this Sunday. Now we also obviously know that it won't be that. It will be Alicia Fox versus Sasha Banks. And the
Right.
feeling is that Jax will return to the company in the coming weeks after her time off. Now, two different ways you could take this story.
All right. Well, what way do you take it?
Well, I'll give both ways.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I'll give both ways first. One could be WWE are covering their tracks because it looks really bad for them business-wise if two people walked out in 2 weeks. So they have to give a reason.
Would
for
they
the
really do that though?
Yes. Every business would do that. Every business would do that. Now, in a couple of weeks, if it says after the news has died down, then they say Nia Jax has been released by mutual consent, then that's okay.
Yeah, but either way, it doesn't look bad. It looks bad.
I know it looks bad, but it's not as bad as 2 in 2 weeks.
The fact is, though,
2 in the space of 8 to 10 weeks is not as bad as 2 in 2 weeks.
the fact is, though, it's been speculated for at the same time as Neville leaving. Therefore, it doesn't make him. It doesn't make it's. You could almost see it if they do it like that. It's more disrespectful. In my opinion.
The only thing, like this is, was it Thursday that we're recording this?
Right.
Thursday, as of Thursday, I don't, and as far as I'm aware, I haven't seen anything on Nia Jax's social media accounts or
I don't follow them, to be honest with you, so.
to say anything in regards to these to what's going on. She hasn't said a word. So if it was the case that she didn't want to leave, do you not think she would say something?
Exactly.
Now,
But then again, has Neville said anything?
but see, that's why. But we know Neville wants out. This is what we're trying. This is why. You're trying to tell me that you're trying to convince me that Nia Jax isn't. That's why I'm saying it's Nia Jax is kind of the same as Neville in that sense, where it's a total media blackout at the moment.
In this case,
They're
though,
currently negotiating Neville's release. Now, the other form of the other mindset that you could have as well is Nia Jax has not been a professional wrestler for that long.
right.
She had not been a professional wrestler before she came into WWE.
That's right.
She's not used to being on the road as often. Maybe that got to her.
Maybe, yeah.
The fact that she's on the road so often that she can't be home and stuff like that. Maybe they said, right, take a couple of weeks to stay at home and just rebuild your energy. It could be that. It could very well be
Personal
that.
experience. It's a personal absence, as it says. Like you know, Nia Jax, who doesn't have a wrestling background, she has a powerlifting background and as a
modelling
as a
background
plus size model as well. Like, so very successful one as well. So yeah, like easily something like that. I agree with you. The second one makes more sense, where maybe like after a certain amount of road, and it happens to every wrestler.
Yeah, I just think the media,
Especially in
the
WWE
media
schedule.
blackout is the thing. If she was happy in WWE and saying, I'm just taking a bit of time off, guys, what's the problem saying that?
Maybe WWE encouraged her to do that, but that doesn't make any sense either. So that's the thing.
I don't know. It's all up in the air.
Yeah, but it's just I can't see her leaving. I really can't.
Like, she's not. This is a bad to say, but I'd say she would still get the work.
Yeah.
But she's not the indie darling, you could say. Like, you know,
She could be. She could be.
Oh, no, she could be.
She
By
definitely
all
could be.
means, she could be. But she's not in the same sense as Neville. As Neville can walk into any promotion he wants to.
He could easily. The thing was with Neville, he could easily go to New Japan and challenge Will Ospreay just like that.
Exactly. He could easily do that. Like Nia's thing, her lack of wrestling background could hinder her. Not saying that though, she still would get work. I'm not saying no indie company would ever touch her. I say Impact would probably be on the phone to her straight away, or Women of Wrestling might do, or maybe even Shimmer might even say.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, or even Japan. Shimmer's in Japan. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, Shimmer's in America, isn't it? Which one in Japan?
Oh.
You know the one.
Yes,
the one.
I know the one.
Stardom. That's the one,
Thank you.
Yeah, so she'll have no, and she'll only improve like with all the indie activity if she gets it, and she has the attraction because she's a bigger lady, like, you know, so that attraction against all these wrestlers.
It's also
and
like in Japan, it's sort of the foreign lady too that would work.
exactly
Angle, you know, the Samoan background.
Yeah, exactly. Look at Piper Nevin.
Yeah,
She's making a huge name. Viper. She's making a huge name for herself. Yeah. So we'll move on. In the meantime, in an interview with Sports Bible, former WWE star Wade Barrett, aka Stu Barrett, discussed several topics, including why he was not happy during his time in WWE. Continuing with the theme of wrestlers leaving, Wade Barrett left WWE last year. and his decision to leave the company. He said, quote, "I didn't really ask to be released. My company was coming to an end. I'd just been there over nine years at that point. I was not happy with the way my creative had gone and not happy with some stuff behind the scenes and the way I'd been treated by certain people there. So in my opinion, it was time to move on and do something else, or at least for a while. I've been offered a new contract by then. I didn't want to sign. I told them I was upfront with them. I don't think they were thrilled about it, but it's not a lot. That there's not a lot you can do. I felt that I was wasting my time there. There's a lot of guys who are not happy with their lot there. I wasn't happy with my lots there for several years, and always believed I was capable of getting to the next level through my work and through my performances and my ability to get over. I got to the point where I didn't believe I was getting the opportunities to get to the level that I wanted to, and I think once I was right, I'd seen the writing on the wall from that perspective. It was a very easy decision for me to leave, and I'm guessing it was the same for guys like Ryback, Roberto Del Rio, Cody Rhodes, who perhaps like me decided it was best to move on too. What's interesting about the way he says that, like, and it's the way you see indie wrestling nowadays. There's a huge life outside of WWE nowadays, which guys who, even if they don't want to wrestle anymore, Wade Barrett, or I keep calling him Wade Barrett, I call him Stu Barrett. He, like, even if you're not fully,
call him Mr. Barrett. How about that?
I like that. Or Marty Skrull's father.
Marty Skrull's dad, yeah. Daddy Skrull.
Daddy Skrull, yeah. But like, he hasn't been really involved in wrestling that much. Bar now, he's the general manager for like Defiant Wrestling now.
He did a lot of these open evenings and stuff that as well. I haven't.
But
like,
he hasn't been really in the ring since.
No,
like, so.
I don't think so. I haven't seen a lot of it advertised.
As opposed to, well, Ryback hasn't either. To be fair. Let's not get to Ryback. But then Elbatron and Cody's the best example. Really.
Did you see Ryback's comments this week?
It was very strange. I don't know
that he wouldn't date a girl who likes wrestling because she obviously he said she's obviously crazy from the get-go to like wrestling. Why do you have to? Why do you have to be so stupid?
Does Ryback like wrestling?
Does Ryback? No.
That's the thing. Like,
I was going to say, does Ryback have a brain? But we obviously know he doesn't. Because he sees anything on TV and he automatically says on his podcast, "I came up with that idea." The Shield, that was my idea.
Shields, that was my
Triple
idea.
Powerbomb, that was my idea.
The Shield get back in together.
Shane jumping off the cell on the Undertaker, that was my idea.
The Bullet Club appearing on Raw. Whose idea was that?
Getting Finn Balor and AJ Styles and Gallows and Anderson.
Listen, we're not talking about Ryback. We're talking about Wade, making a very good point. And the thing is, though, and because there's a lot of speculation this week, like coming from people who are leaving, obviously with Neville and Nia Jax, and obviously like there's a bit of there's also the idea now, especially when you look at guys like Cody and how well they're doing, and even Austin Aries, like you mentioned how much he's making in the indies compared to WWE. It makes you think, people who work in WWE is especially if it's on certain terms which you're not thrilled with.
It's gonna have to cause WWE
It could be a huge threat to WWE when you think about it.
It already is. I think their crowd attendance are proving that it already is.
Yeah.
Okay, the casual fan will go and see because WWE are in town and they'll probably bring their kids and stuff like that. Of
course. Listen,
but the hardcore wrestling fan does not want to go to WWE anymore.
Or at least the audience that they once advertised most for, the Attitude Era bunch. The Attitude audience. Go. The Attitude audience, we'll call it.
They won't go because you can get probably better wrestling at an indie show.
Absolutely.
Now, I
still tell everyone to this day, if people who are not into wrestling don't watch WWE, go to a live show. It's way better.
You would prefer it so much more. There was a lot of names coming to there, and obviously we're seeing Neville leave soon, and there's talk about Nia Jax.
Yeah.
Indie wrestling's good at the moment.
It's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
It's best it's ever been.
The only issue I have is if too many people leave WWE. Which will never happen. I know it will never happen. But this is a worst case scenario.
Okay.
That if a big amount where the indie pond is not that big. What it has now, it can hold. If too many people jump ship and try get into this pond and leave the WWE one, it becomes saturated, and then it's in trouble.
I don't think so.
Would you not?
No, because you make it seem like the indies in general is smaller than WWE.
Because it is.
It's just there's a lot
Clearly
more.
is.
There's a lot more companies that, like, you know, like WWE. And end of the day, even though it's the biggest company by far in wrestling, it's still one company. Even though it has little divisions here and there, like NXT, obviously, and it's 205 Live, and
I would akin.
there are associations with British Indies, if you like, but that beyond that, though,
WWE you see more as an empire.
yeah.
You know, and the indie companies would be like smaller nations, sort of thing.
At the end of the day, they'll be happy to take them. All these guys, like the Ring of Honor,
I know.
New
It's just
Japans.
like this is just worst case scenario. That's all. Like, if too many guys go onto the indies, you could be getting. It could be costing the indies too much to get these guys on, and you could see a few indies go out of business. We've already seen some
But it could
that have done that.
But it's all. But yeah, but that's true. But it could also create better business for them, especially if they.
If it makes their promoters become smarter, not for
OCT, great example. They save their best event, their highest attendance events for their biggest stars. Yeah. You have Marty Scurll, Young Bucks, and Cody Rhodes and Dalton Castle, four humongous stars, and you have them
Gordon, Ray Phoenix as well.
all coming into the biggest venue. It makes sense, like, to have that attendance go to that show. Like, you know, it's the same for Progress. They're having their biggest show next year in Wembley. They'll easily sell, 10,000, 15,000. Easily sell it.
Oh no, I can understand that.
Especially if they bring in they don't even need to bring in big names. They have such a big fan base. But if they did, if they brought if they brought in a Dalton Castle, if they brought in a Kushida, if they brought even a Kenny Omega, sorted.
Yeah,
sorted. Like, they'll be fine.
fair point.
We'll move on in the meantime, though. Sorry about James Ellsworth this week.
Yes, in an interview with Jerry the King Lawler on his Dinner with the King podcast, WWE Smackdown Live superstar James Ellsworth discussed several topics, including how it was Carmella's idea for him to be paired up with her on the show. I think it was last year at the European Tour in November. She came to me and said, "Hey, I have this idea about putting you with me whenever you're done with the Dean Ambrose and AJ stuff." Whenever the AJ and Dean Ambrose stuff comes to an end. I have this idea to pitch to them. They put you with me, you fall in love with me, and I use you to my advantage to win matches and get me the women's title. I said, yeah, that would be a great idea. I didn't know her much back then. She went to Vince and she pitched she pitched right to Vince, and Vince loved it. It's going on 11 months, and we've been on TV together. We are good friends. We text all the time. She's a very, very smart girl, and she's easy to talk to. We get along great.
It's interesting, isn't it? What I like about that story is that, like, you know, and it's something that, like, we criticize a lot about WWE is, like, you know, where's the writing going, where's the booking going? At least they're still letting the talent, even young talent like Carmella, pitch their ideas. Like, you know,
well, if an idea works, like, you go for it 100%.
Yeah.
I wonder whose idea it was to pitch the dog leash.
Oh, but it was such a good idea. Yeah, but, you know, what I like about that, not only is it good, but it extends its way for good, like, you know.
Yeah.
We see so many storylines, like some we'll probably talk about in the WWE, like reviewed this week, like, you know, which we feel is going nowhere and we don't know where it's going. Whereas this, it adds longevity. It's not like a crippled story where it talks about all the time, but it's there and we can still see it. And it's clever. It's very clever on their part. So, Dinner with the King. What a name! What an interesting name for a podcast.
Yeah, I know some of these names for podcasts are very, very clever. You know, they don't beat the kick out, but they are quite clever.
Well, ours comes from Glossary as opposed to their gimmicks. So give them credit where it's due.
Yeah, there is some other ones that's Stone Cold's one is just Stone Cold's Unleashed. Talk is Jericho. Yeah,
works for him.
What other ones? There's tons of them.
Yeah.
What's the Ryback? Ryback's one is just Ryback.
Yeah.
Taz has the Taz show. It's actually a show. It's not a podcast. Ric Flair's is just a Ric Flair podcast. I don't think he does it anymore now, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
The Edge and Christian ENC podcast or something like that.
Isn't that the Edge and Christian show? Oh no, that's
that was the WWE network. Yeah. I think it's the ENC podcast.
Oh, okay. Beyond that, I don't
everyone has a podcast
lately. Yeah, it's to be a podcast.
I know, they're copying our idea, Dave, taking away all our listeners.
No, we're well, you know, we can just get there, listeners.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on to an update on why Bo Dallas has been off TV.
Yeah, and an update to Bo Dallas. Might have been wondering why he's been kept off WWE television as of late, but apparently he's been kept home has been dealing with a bad illness. Meanwhile, WWE superstar Bray Wyatt and Raw ring announcer Jojo Offerman, that's kind of ironic, that they have been kept off the roads. They've been also kept off the roads as a precautionary measure that they may have been exposed to the illness as well. As of now, it is unknown as to when Bo will be back on the road with the company, but it has been known that Bray Wyatt is indeed scheduled to face Finn Balor at this Sunday's TLC pay-per-view. So it's like an illness. So like I thought he was injured. I don't know what the story why he was gone.
They're doing the injury angle and all, yeah, but that's weird. So obviously, like
explains why if Bo has it, why Bray has it, and explains if Bray has it, definitely if JoJo has it.
I'll be honest. When I first read the story, I didn't see the Bray one, and I saw Bo had it, and they kept JoJo off because the JoJo had it. I was like, what the hell is JoJo doing? First Bray, now Bo. But yeah, that's a weird. I wonder what the illness is.
Probably just
it's something. It's obviously something to do near where they live.
Maybe a very heavy flu or something like that. I don't know. If it's a particular flu, like they're wise to keep them up.
Could be. It could be like one of Bray's kids or something had the flu, gave it to Bray and gave it to JoJo, gave it to
changing up the seasons, I guess. Yeah. Like, you know. Like, we get a lot of colds here, so it's probably something similar. We'll move on, though. Interesting update about Ricochet this week.
Yeah, and an update on Ricochet, aka Prince Puma, and his current deal with Lucha Underground. He will reportedly not be free of his contract with the company until July 16th, 2018, unless they tape a fourth season of the show, with the expectation that Ricochet will attempt to get out of the deal and head to WWE, according to the Wrestling Observer. Meanwhile, in regards to Lucha Underground, the report notes that the producers are shopping around the show to other networks with the belief that the El Rey network will not fund the show in full. However, the problem that is facing the promotion is that at the previous level that it costs almost $400,000 per episode for them, which will be a tough to sell as the show averages between 100,000 and 175,000 viewers per week. If the show does move off the El Rey network, it should be noted that El Rey, as well as Robert Rodriguez, will still maintain an ownership stake in the promotion.
Well, it shows us a status where Lucha is going. Like, that'll be fine. I mean, it's such a good show. It's such a good show to watch. Like,
yeah,
you know.
But cost-wise, a lot of money. I don't see a lot of networks touching that.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Yeah. It certainly makes it interesting about Ricochet's stats. There's a lot of speculation, obviously, that he's going to WWE soon.
Yeah, I think it's pretty nailed on that he's going to WWE.
All the signs are there, small by small.
You don't blame him. I spoke about it last week. It's very attractive for WWE. WWE is very attractive for people that have young families that just want to stay home.
Absolutely.
And Ricochet has that. He has a young family. He has a child. Obviously, he has... it's his girlfriend. It's not his wife, isn't it? They're not married.
I think they're girlfriends, yeah.
Yeah. Or it could be fiancé, we'll say.
Yeah,
but
somewhere.
And Moose. I found out Moose lives with them too.
They
all live in the same house together. Yeah. So it is a very good option for them, for Ricochet especially. Mm-hmm. Especially if Tessa Blanchard is going to get a contract in WWE too.
Which she should after in the back. Like, she's competing.
She's a very good wrestler.
Oh, she's fantastic.
I think she's
one of the best female indie
in the Battle Royal next week as well, isn't she?
Yeah, so she's definitely one of the best American indie wrestlers going at the moment. Yeah. Like, so and she's experienced as it gets. Like, she's third generation. Like, so she has all the credentials in the world.
And like I said, they have a child together too. So it works. It works for Ricochet. He'll get to be home an awful lot more. He won't be in Japan as much. And you know, it sucks that after probably a good year in NXT, he'll be thrown onto 205 Live.
Let's not presume that straight away.
It's happening, Dave.
If he succeeds,
Dave, it's happening.
If he becomes NXT champion, he won't be gone to 205.
Dave, it's happening.
You're wrong.
It's happening.
No.
It's happening.
No.
It's happening.
Did you say
if he becomes NXT champion, it won't happen?
Yeah.
Neville.
Yeah, but he was in the main show first.
Neville.
The reason he was put on 205 is to help boost the division. Simple as that.
And what would Ricochet do?
Chances are 205. I don't even know. No, he's not going.
Moving on.
An update on WWE Universal Champion Brock Lesnar's contract with WWE. His final date on his current date will be the WrestleMania 34 pay-per-view on April 2018. However, Lesnar's contract also includes an option for the WWE to renew Lesnar's deal, which is believed to be exercised. If both sides do not come to a new deal, WWE will retain several rights regarding Brock Lesnar that do not expire until August 2018, something that UFC President Dana White noted when questioned recently about the potential of Lesnar returning to the octagon for another fight. The UFC have initially planned for Lesnar to face off against John Jones when the time is right for Lesnar. However, due to Jones' USADA suspension, those plans are now completely off the table. So, again, it's more speculation about the contract. Like, you know, but there's been a lot of speculation he's been they could retire from wrestling and just go for fighting. That's that for Brock then.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Brock might keep the contract with WWE. Like, he goes to a few shows, F5's a guy once, pins him, and then he goes home with 250 grand.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't
And then
you?
he can go off for a couple of months.
You know, I wouldn't mind him doing that. I just wish he didn't have the Universal title. I've said that so many times.
Yeah.
But, you know, it annoys me so much.
I know it does. It annoys a lot of people, Dave.
Yeah.
It does.
Anyway, from...
I've become accustomed to it.
Yeah. Anyway, for one UFC star, on WWE's terms, another UFC star.
Exactly. And an update on former UFC Women's Bantamweight champion Ronda Rousey, possibly heading to WWE. Rousey noted in an interview with TMZ that there's nothing to the situation, and that if she was heading to WWE, she wouldn't tell, as it's the way she likes to see things as a wrestling fan. It should be noted that Rousey, as well as Jasmine Duke of the Four Horsewomen, have been training with Brian Kendrick in California, while Marina Shafir, the wife of WWE NXT superstar Roderick Strong, has been training in Florida and recently signed WWE NXT talent Shayna Baszler has been also training at the Performance Center.
What?
So obviously they want a Four Horsewomen versus Four Horsewomen. They've been teasing that for ages. They teased at the Mae Young Classic. They wanted to do it for Survivor Series. It obviously won't happen at Survivor Series, but WrestleMania,
I don't know. Like, it depends how well they're trained. Like, you know, first of all, I have to say, what I like about Ronda's comments is that she isn't saying
she keeps kayfabe,
which is very, which I highly applaud. I applaud her for that. She gets it. I applaud Rousey for that. She's a smart businesswoman. But, like, I don't know, if this is one of these things I wouldn't rush if I was WWE, because, like, you know, no matter how athletic the MMA force women are, it's still different environments from MMA. It's wrestling where they can take bumps, where they can get hurt, and them from wrestling backgrounds should know that. Like let them take their time, make sure it's getting the all clear, and then go for, like, I would rather wait until next year's Survivor Series rather than this year's WrestleMania. I don't think they're going to be ready before then. That's
a WrestleMania worthy match, though.
It is.
So that's why I'm saying WrestleMania.
It is, but I mean, it could be, like, usually got people from athletic backgrounds such as martial arts or wrestling easily adapt to WWE style very quickly. Chad Gable, Kurt Angle, Ken Shamrock, to name a few. But, like, you know, it'll be interesting to see how, like, adapts. Like, I'd like to think they could do it to WrestleMania, but I wouldn't pressure them if they can't. That's all I'm saying. Like, you know, it can or cannot happen. Like, that's the way I'd see it there. So now let's continue our show now with our results of the week.
Oh my God! What the hell is going on? Oh my God!
And we start off with Monday Night Raw.
Welcome to Monday Night Raw.
There's really only one talking point when it comes to Raw, and that's obviously the Shield. And not only is it the Shield reunion, it's the Shield now, like, you know, like as a proper union. They're coming out, they're back in their SWAT team uniforms, and they're back with their original theme whilst going to the crowds. Can't say better than that.
Which was good.
Which was class.
And then they had matches later on, and they came out to their own team tune, which I found weird. Like, I didn't get it. You know, when they had the tag team title match, they came out to their own single star music. Well, what was the point of that?
Well, I think what they're trying to do is, I understand how, you know, it is weird. I kind of feel the same, but I think WWE's point of view is that even though they're together as the Shields, they're still making them individuals as well. This is still Dean Ambrose. This is still Seth Rollins. This is still Roman Reigns.
I know, but, like, they're still tag team champs. You could at least let them have the Shield.
What I find amusing about that is that I imagine anytime Roman Reigns with the Shield, he'll get booed at all. But when he comes out by himself to his Roman Empire team, it's booed all again. So on that point, though, when you think about it, like, even do you think though that the reunion of the Shield will help Roman Reigns, especially if they do that thing with their individual entrances? So that's why
I don't know. Fans just love to hate him, though. That's the thing. Yeah, they just love to hate him. So probably it won't affect it. I think he'll still get booed. Yeah, unless he's in a tag team.
I can't. Yeah, the thing is, there's no reason why he's not. I can't see any reason why he's booed anymore. I really can't. He's as good as anyone.
Just because everyone knows he's Vince's boy.
So what?
That's why. He's Vince's boy. That's why.
Stone Cold was Vince's boy back in the day. I'm just saying.
Yeah, not. I know he was, but
he's as good as a wrestler.
He at least showed disdain for the establishment by going after it all the time. They don't do that a lot. They don't do that at all.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
You know, with Roman.
Or
Roman's just a guy who shows up all the time.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and to be fair, like, yeah, but other than that though, fantastic worker, as good as any worker in the world.
Oh, like
the WWE have.
We say it every week. Wrestling wise, he is probably the best one there. But
booking on Raw, we'll say.
Yeah,
maybe.
Booking wise, he is just hated. He's just hated.
Anyway, Kurt Angle came out saying that it's safe to say that the Shield are back to Karen. Before he could say anything, the Shield came out as a threesome through the crowd with their old theme and attire to a huge pop.
Good thing that Seth and Dean kept that and kept the SWAT stuff in their closet, right?
What do you mean
for
by
when
that?
they needed it. Good thing they didn't throw it out, like.
Oh yeah, of course. They addressed the crowd saying that it's better that they're better than ever, and they challenged Miz, The Bar, and Strowman. All four of them came out to the stage before Kurt stopped them, saying that their 4-on-3 match can wait till TSC, and that Braun is still have to face Reigns in the cage match, while Rollins and Ambrose defend their titles against The Bar. Miz with Curtis Axel and The Bar introduced Braun to Strowman to Miz TV later on the show. Before Braun came out, The Bar addressed the Shield, saying that they'll shard the Shield into 3 pieces, and when Braun came out, they said that he intends to rip each Shield member apart one by one. Kurt then came out saying that everyone is barred from ringside during the cage match, and also made a stipulation of the match that an extra member can be added to the match if Braun wins, and Braun is removed from the TLC matches if he loses to Reigns, which Braun confidently accepted. Much to Miz face said otherwise, but
yeah.
Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose later defend the titles against The Bar in the Raw title. Very good match, as they always deliver. Like, that's always an awesome match between those two teams. Ambrose pins Cesaro to retain the titles after nailing his dirty deeds. Afterwards, a hyped up Curtis Axel tried to motivate The Bar after a loss and Strowman before his cage match by proving himself by going after Reigns. Later on, Miz discovered Axel upside down hanging from a forklift.
Yeah.
It shows how far that went.
Yeah.
And then Miz said afterwards that when Medics attended to Axel, that although he thinks the world of him, he was never the 5th man. It made you think then, okay, well, who is it then? That's when you start to speculate. And then later on, they had their cage match, Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns. Another great match to their rivalry this year. Like, you know, we said it a few times. This is
probably one of the rivalries of the year.
Absolutely, it's definitely worthy to mention at the end of the year. Miz joined commentary for the match. A very physical match, as always, between the two. The Bar tried to prevent Roman from escaping the cage, but Rollins and Ambrose fought them off and continued to brawl.
Yeah, the 4 guys who were barred from ringside for this just showed up.
It sort of defeated the purpose of Kurt's rule, doesn't it? Some superplex from Braun and Reigns, by the way.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Miz left commentary to lock The Bar, Rollins and Ambrose away from getting back into the arena before rejoining commentary. And you can see, you can recognize faces Miz when he knows something no one else knows.
Yeah.
Before Reigns looked like he was going to finish Braun, Kane's music played before he appeared from climbing through the ring, chokeslamming Reigns twice and giving him his tombstone before Strowman pinned Reigns after 2 more power slams.
Love that Kane is back. Absolutely love that Kane is back.
But why?
And I love the story that it is. I love the story that it is, but it wasn't explained. That's the problem.
Well, does it have to be explained in this case?
It kind of does. Like, obviously, we are... I hate to say it, but we're smart wrestling fans. We know what's going on.
I'm a dumbass, but there you go.
When it comes to wrestling, you're not.
No, I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. But it's just not explained. Like, they expected people to think of it themselves, which okay, it's fine, well and good if you want to do. But there's some people who's just like, okay, why is Kane there? Why is he there?
We can always speculate, like, you know, like the main
The main reason is he's come to get revenge because Roman
retired the Undertaker.
Bingo, done.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, at the very least, if he wanted like explanation, he could have at least given us a hint or something like that.
Yeah,
somewhere there.
It would have been perfect if they had this match last week, the cage match where Kane comes out, and then this week they explain it. Perfect. You know, they may explain it at some point during the.
They probably will
during the
backstage interview or something like that.
Which could be okay, but And I would have liked to be in a little cleaner. That's just me, but that's
I get you. It's
that's nitpicking. I still love the fact that he's in the match.
It's way more forgivable if he mentions it before the match, where it's Kane or Strowman together as opposed to the whole team.
Yeah.
Maybe it would make more sense if Kane by himself said it.
Yeah.
Like, as opposed to being in the full team, because I don't know. It's, like either way, if he explains it, it would make more sense.
Even like, obviously, you're asking
Kane
to use Twitter, but if it was something like that, or maybe it was a WWE exclusive video or that they put on their YouTube, would have helped to explain things a little better.
There wasn't nothing like that. No,
there was
afterwards?
nothing like that. No,
I haven't checked him in a while, to be honest with you. But there you go. And now Kane is added to the match now, making it a 5-on-3 handicap match for TLC. So, and it's interesting now because this is essentially just a hardcore match, as we said, which encourages.
But they can't say hardcore.
Exactly. No, it's basically an Extreme Rules match, but they encourage.
But it's not an Extreme Rules pay-per-view.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're encouraging that tables, ladders, and chairs. Simple as that. Like
the only stip. This match is easily getting at least 40 minutes.
Think so?
The card is other than that, the card is so weak that they're putting everything in this match, and I can't wait because it's going to be 40 minutes of fantastic wrestling,
spots.
fantastic spots, just brilliant. It's going to be porn for your eyes. Obviously nothing like actual porn.
Well, porn.
Hopefully not.
Porn can be many things.
That is very true.
Like from slams.
Let's just not get into different things. Let's move on.
Let's move on. Let's talk about Enzo Amore coming out complaining.
What a transition! Oh my god! Oh.
You can't teach that. He came out complaining that he was screwed out of the Cruiserweight title last week. Kalisto came out saying that he can blame as many people as he wants, but the fact is he is now Cruiserweight champion. Enzo said that he has money taller than him before Daivari, Gulak, Nice and Noam Dar all attacked Kalisto from behind, and despite Mustafa Ali's attempts to save Kalisto, it was outnumbered by Enzo and the other four. So it's what I find a bit weird about this is it seems like Daivari is united with Enzo, and that's grand. It was explained during the shows. Like he just wants to. It feels like he's trying to get ahead of the pack in the Cruiserweight division. That makes sense. If you watch it in hindsight, some of the booking does make a lot of sense.
Well, he did that anyway. Like the first Tuesday, he showed up to 205 Live after joining it. Like Daivari was there saying, "Look, listen, man, I'm sorry. They had to do it. I had to do it because I didn't want to go against them." Blah 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 blah. I don't get why Dar and Gulak are now suddenly part of it.
And what's really confusing about it, we'll talk about 205 a bit shortly. They weren't even in the picture at all. During that, it was just Daivari and Enzo again. Yeah. If there's a stable going on, at least mention it. But it just seemed like it was that one time.
It was just weird. Yeah.
A hired gun, so to speak.
Because you just look. All you have to do is go back 2 weeks. This is the short-term booking that is just infuriating when it comes to WWE.
I know. If they explained it, it would make sense.
Exactly. They don't think ahead to these things. Drew Gulak was so into going after Enzo for this attack. So was Noam Dar.
It's not only that. It's they probably do think ahead of it. They just don't care to mention it.
I don't even think. I just don't. They're not thinking. They just think. They went with the thing. How good would it be if everyone went after Enzo? That works brilliant. Okay, now Daivari, yeah.
No, half of them are lying with you now.
Daivari, yes. He can go with him because he can be that sort of snake sort of thing. That's fine. Yeah.
That works.
Let's put Gulak in there then. But what's the reasoning behind it?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Let's just put the heels that are on the show with the main heel because that makes sense.
Drew Gulak was then on 205 Live doing his continuing his PowerPoint presentation.
No mention
whatsoever.
No
mention whatsoever. Doesn't make any sense. But there you go. We'll move on anyway. Let's talk about Sister Abigail. Or
now we know why Bray has the sheet over his face from the news. Because he's sick. He doesn't want to get anyone else sick. He's in quarantine.
But my God, though. Before we heard the news, it might not even be Bray. It could be Bo Dallas. It could be Jojo Offerman. You know what? That makes sense. What if the person who is actually it's not Bray Wyatt, it's actually JoJo who's speaking to Bray, or speaking to Finn the whole time?
I just hate this.
No wonder it's a bad illness.
I just hate.
That must be a really bad illness.
Yeah, it makes Bray think he's his sister.
In all seriousness, though, you're not having it, are you?
No, I hate it. I'm just done. I'm done with it. And he's bringing back the Demon again. I don't get it. Like, this Demon character was meant to be only brought out once in a while. You know, it's that extra bit. It was only brought out, like, it was only brought out at SummerSlam. It was only brought out in August.
That's not that often.
2 months. We're talking about big 4 sort of times.
I know. I wouldn't say for that much.
I don't get it. Because now they've booked themselves into a corner. This is the second corner they booked themselves into. The other one is on SmackDown. We'll get into that. But you have the Demon character, which is meant to be this great one for Finn that is unbeatable, right? But then you have Bray becoming Sister Abigail and possessing the power of Sister Abigail.
Yeah.
So you can't have them both win, and you can't. And having either one of them lose is going to really, really hurt them.
So you think? So in other words, if Bray loses to Finn, it's bad, and if Bray loses to Finn, it's bad.
Yeah, it's bad. Like, this is a no-win situation.
This seems like, well, if it's a logical booking, then it would make more sense, surely, then if they just cancel each other out and just ends up with no contests.
That's not going to happen, though.
It could easily be one of these matches, though, where it actually isn't even a match. It's like a fight. There's no decision in the end.
No, I don't see that happening. Might happen, but I can't see it.
But that would make the most sense.
It would be the only way for them to get out of it. I'd agree. It would be the only way for them to get out of it. But
I don't think Finn has lost a match under the Demon.
He did against Joe.
Oh, you're right. He has.
He did in NXT against Joe. He hasn't in WWE. Now, he's only had 2 matches.
Yeah, well, no. Overall, I include NXT. Like, so.
I'm worried for this match and what the outcome's going
to be.
We don't
see. The thing is, it's unknown territory. We don't know what to expect from the Sister Abigail perspective of of this character. Is it going to be similar to the Demon? Is it going to be completely different? Is it going to be someone else who plays it rather than Finn or rather than Bray? We don't know. Like, it's a really out of blue situation. It really is a strange one. So we can only speculate like what the story is like. So. Other bits and pieces what I mentioned from Raw. I have to mention Elias with Gallows and Anderson. I thought that was hilarious, and it was it was by far and away the most enjoyable I've seen Elias. I'm enjoying Elias anyway. I think his character is getting a bit over, like you know, especially even with the demographic, if you like, like they're enjoying it, singing along, clapping now and then. They see it as fun, and here's Gallows and Anderson coming on, warming their vocals with chicken noises and saying nerds before all seeing them saying the honky tonk theme. I just think that's hilariously funny.
Yeah. It was enjoyable. It's a nice side piece that Raw have, and it's good to have it, but like
it's basically their version of Breezango at the moment.
Yeah, kind of.
In a way.
Yeah, kind of. It's their fashion files.
Yeah.
Walking with Elias is their fashion files.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, true.
Well, we get like a comedy party every week on SmackDown. We get a bit of an open mic with Elias.
Yeah, okay. That's actually, it's a good call.
Good.
It's a bit like, it's that comic relief that you need for a show, especially when it's 3 hours long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here's SmackDown, where it only needs 2 hours, but it still adds to it. Like it's briefer, but it does the job.
Exactly.
Let's move on to SmackDown on that note.
To the Rock Show, to the premier show, SmackDown.
I want to ask, actually, by the way, why Michael Cole is filling in for Tom Phillips in commentary. Do we know why Tom Phillips is not doing it?
He's on holidays.
Oh, he's on holidays. Okay.
Yeah, he's on holidays.
Well, on that note, Daniel Bryan came out acknowledging that it's good to be back home. Seattle is close to his home in Aberdeen, Washington. Yeah. Announcing there's going to be
he's a Seattle Seahawks fan. That's what. Just putting that out there because they're in Seattle. Because I'm a Seattle Seahawks fan.
The only way I've heard of Daniel Bryan's hometown, Aberdeen, Washington, it was the same hometown of Kurt Cobain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a statue actually that was made recently in his honor. So there you go, 2 famous people, arguably the most famous grunge musician of all time, and arguably one of the greatest cynical wrestlers of all time. So they make a good Alzheimer's.
They make them good there, don't they?
Oh, they do.
Make them good.
Anyway, he's making a lot of announcements, like about Dolph Ziggler and the 6-woman tag and Jinder Mahal, until Sami Zayn came out. And when he did come out, Brian asked him, "Is this the same Zayn that he's known for the last 13 years?" Zayn explains that he's the same guy, but he just took ownership of his own career. When Brian tried to relate with him, Zayn disagreed, saying that although they have similarities, Brian had the crowd, while the crowds didn't cheer for him. despite their reaction, and if Bryan worked smarter rather than harder, he'd still be wrestling. Zayn then also said that Bryan went from being the performer of his generation to breaking his body to the point where he's simply a housewife.
Yeah, classic heel technique that will get you over on SmackDown, especially. Attack Daniel Bryan for the fact that he can't wrestle anymore.
Here's the thing, though.
It works, and it's perfect.
I'm enjoying Zayn as a heel. I really
Zayn
am.
as a heel. Zayn and Owens, I love it so far.
And really good, yeah.
It's similar to the whole
Jericho and Owens
thing, but it's different enough that it's not getting criticised for being the same thing.
It's not known for catchphrases, which is enjoyable as they were.
Yeah,
like, it isn't the be
but
all and
that's
end
Jericho's thing. Like, you
yeah,
know, that was Jericho's thing. For the catchphrases, Zayn's thing is he's this kind of wacky guy that's still has this bad streak that we saw, especially that we saw in the tag team match. Like, he can even resort to a low blow and he'll have no problem doing that.
And if anything, he's more of a goofball than ever.
Yeah,
he really is.
He's just being himself.
Yeah,
he's just being himself with a little bit of
well, you know what? I can do this and no one can stop me. That's our attitude. Yeah. Kevin Owens then came out saying that he's so happy for Zayn and agree with everything that you said about Bryan. Bryan responded by saying that Owens never cared for Zayn as proven before. Owens responded by saying that he cares more about what's best for business and is now the authority, which is, I imagine, is a bit of a low blow considering Daniel Bryan's history with them. Yeah. Zayn then agreed with Owens that saying that Bryan is now a sellout and thanking Owens for saving him from doing the same. Bryan then left the ring, saying that he's going to make a tag team match so 2 people can punch him in the face, and shortly announced then that Zayn and Owens will face Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura. In the match itself, the ref was distracted by Owens attacking Nakamura from the outside, where Zayn low-blowed Orton before finishing him off with a Helluva Kick for the win. Then it was later announced then afterwards that by Daniel Bryan that Shane McMahon will be back next week to address Zayn and Owens. So it should be very interesting. See what happens there.
Should be, yeah. I think we'll probably see the setup of a Survivor Series match. Team Shane McMahon against Team Kevin and Sami.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
See, there you go. So they get it right sometimes. Like, and if we did think about
it's like see, this is the thing. WWE can do some long term booking that can work.
Yeah.
But recently, it's just been killing them. The fact that their short term booking's been so poor.
I'm gonna give you a quote right now from Paul Ellering, WrestleMania 8. Mm-hmm. When my boys are good, they're very good. But when my boys are bad, they're very bad. Like, I think this represents the writers of WWE sometimes.
True, very true.
Or whoever pitches the ideas. As we talked about in the news with Carmella, it probably isn't just them.
Yeah,
it's just a bad idea from a wrestler sometimes. For all we know.
Well, the wrestler has to be into their gimmick, and like we've seen, obviously Neville's not into the storyline. He's not into the gimmick at the moment, so that's why he's leaving. You know, like you said, in WWE are good, they get something like Carmella and James Ellsworth. When they're bad, you get Neville. Now, not saying Neville was bad, just Neville hated the fact that he had to go put Enzo Amore.
Yeah. I think that's how. There's a very famous wrestler who left WWE because he refused to go over to a guy who he thought was below him. Ahmed Johnson, remember him?
Oh yes.
He left because he refused to get over. I don't know who it was to, but basically cost his career at WWE.
It obviously wasn't someone important because you probably would have remembered.
We'll move on anyway. Pulp Fashion. I always love this, like, because it's so cheesy, and you know, like the evidence board picks this time.
I loved the John Cena being the Mr. Pink, the Mr. White, the Mr. Orange,
Mr. Blue, Mr. White, Mr. Orange, Mr. Pink, and Mr. Blonde. Road Dogg of Reservoir Dogs. I'm surprised no one's done this yet in the Irish wrestling form. Butch from the Bushwhackers. Someone get Daniel Gannon on that board and Photoshop it. Seriously, it makes perfect sense.
Oh, we'll say that to Butch next time he's on preview on OTT. Maybe.
Do it before we do. I'm telling you right now. I'm expecting that next weekend, if not right now. But anyway, when Fandango tried to interrogate the Ascension further, Tyler Breeze came in dressed up as Uma Thurman and ate a cheeseburger which poisoned him as he's allergic to pickles. And after Fandango almost stabbed him with adrenaline, Tyler came to and said he passed out due to the gluten. Everyone then realised that the briefcase disappeared, and when the Ascension tried to align themselves with Breezango, they just walked off. So, another chapter to be continued. So,
yeah.
As much as I enjoy this, like it's a struggle to see where it's going as well. Especially
welcome to my train of thinking.
Especially because, like, you know, here's the whatchamacallit, Luke Harper and Eric Rowan coming back. But they are coming
The
back.
Bludgeon Brothers.
The Bludgeon Brothers.
2B.
2B. Yeah, but the strange thing is, there's a lot of speculation that's there's actually nothing to do with that.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know.
Because they're actually trying to book them as a very dominant tag team. They're already getting comparisons to Demolition in the way they're presenting themselves.
Yeah.
So, would that be too weird? Would that be too weak of an introduction for them if that's the case? Over this whole thing's been leading on for months. It's all the time.
I don't know. Like I honestly believe that they have lost what they wanted to do. I think they had an idea in their mind of who attacked them, but then this sketch part of the show got so popular that they kept it going and going and going, without remembering that they had to have an end result.
Yeah, pretty much
You know?
nailed on there.
Like they even mentioned in the skit, like, listen, we have a new case, but wait, you didn't finish the 2B thing after forgetting about it totally. So, you know?
Yeah.
Like, everyone thought the gold thing was going to be for championship gold, but no, clearly not. And also the championship belts are silver, so that wouldn't work either. So
Why don't you just dress up as Austin Powers over when the suitcase shines at you like that?
in gold, member, like,
Yeah.
but there's only one Austin Power. Who was the other one? Like, I guess he could have been Beyonce Knowles' character, but then you get into a weird thing there. You know?
Yeah, but like he had so many female psychics as well.
He did,
Or
yeah,
like- or like-
yeah, but I'm thinking
or
about
like
the
you
Gold
ma-
Member movie itself that had Beyonce as the psychic,
Yeah.
or sidekick, not psychic.
or Michael Caine or someone like that, or even Dr. Evil.
No, because it wouldn't work.
No, it probably wouldn't work.
What would
It's
be their
like-
next one though? Like, it's like,
God, who knows?
have they done Lethal Weapon yet?
No, they haven't.
They're Lethal Weapon.
There you go.
There you go.
The Mullets would suit them perfectly.
Yeah,
Mullets
there's
would
an easy way of mimicking it as well. Because if you watched Always Sunny in Philadelphia, they made 2 more films of it, and they're fantastic.
The Mullets suit them. The Mullets suit them.
Yep.
We'll move on. Jinder Mahal came out talking about his homecoming in India, where he was asked by a young fan what's next after beating everyone who's worth beating on SmackDown, despite some fans chanting "You can't wrestle." Mahal placed down a challenge to Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series to prove that the Beast can be slayed. AJ Styles came out saying that he has beaten every opponent on SmackDown except for him. AJ dismissed Mahal dismissed AJ as a loser before AJ said that Mahal probably wouldn't mind a loser trying to challenge him for the title. Mahal suggested that AJ is on the back of the line, and the idea of AJ challenging him is a joke. AJ did attack Mahal to make him retreat away. Backstage, Mahal demanded that AJ's disrespect from Brian takes action and wanted one of the things to challenge AJ next week in his honor, which Brian accepted.
Sunil, I think it is.
Sunil, isn't it? Yeah.
Sunil.
So there's been speculation about this during the week. Mahal challenging Brock. I don't know why.
This is the second thing that WWE booked themselves in the corner with. How are you going to book this? Now,
It makes sense in
there was
Survivor Series,
one, like,
intergender match, but or inter-promotion match, but
the official Low Blows Twitter account put this up,
Right.
and it's an interesting concept. I don't think it's going to happen,
go for it.
but it's an interesting concept. Team Brock against Team Jinder at Survivor Series. I don't see anybody joining a Team Brock. Honestly, I don't see anybody. Jinder will obviously have the 2 Singh brothers.
Mm-hmm. Maybe
Probably
Great
Rusev and Aiden English, maybe.
Great Khali.
No, they're not bringing
No.
Great Khali back.
No.
No, Dave, no.
Okay. No, I didn't think of
But
Rusev
who,
in
like,
English.
who would you put on Team Brock?
I don't know.
You wouldn't put, like, there's no way to shield a team with Team Brock.
Ah, no.
No way. Because you're obviously booking Brock as the face in this. So who would you put him with? There's no one. Slater and Rhino. But as we've known from previous shows, Brock doesn't give a B about Slater's kids.
Indeed.
So difficult.
It basically just be a 5-on-1
It's not. That's
elimination match.
I wouldn't. Well, maybe 2. They might put Paul Heyman in a tracksuit.
No, they will not. He got away with that 15 years ago. Not now.
I'm not saying he'd do anything. You might take a bump or 2 or something.
He didn't even take a bump in that match.
But yeah, so I don't see it happening. I think it will be a 1-on-1 match. Like, how do you book this?
I don't even
Champion
know.
versus champion. You can't have either one go over the other either.
Yeah.
Because no way, and Brock and Paul Heyman are known for this backstage, no way will they have Brock lose to Jinder.
Yeah.
No way. And if they're not feeling this feud, they will just down tools and do nothing about it. Like they'll just go week by week going through the motions until the match comes, and then they'll just take care of the match the way they want it, because they have a lot more pulling power than Jinder Mahal has.
Yeah, but Brock is going to respond to Mahal's challenge next week on Raw. If that's the case,
I would love him just to say no. Just no, I'm not doing it.
Why not? That actually does make sense. Yeah. No, thank you.
Now, like, the thing is,
but then it could get out of hand for different reasons.
Like I don't remember the last time there was a cross promotion. It was Randy and Brock.
Yeah,
I don't see Jinder Mahal coming through the crowd and giving Brock Lesnar a coloss out of nowhere when he's trying to respond to it.
Coloss out of nowhere.
I just don't see it happening. So, how do you? Because the thing is, okay, so you have Survivor Series. It's a title. It's a title versus champion versus champion match. Obviously, no titles are going to be on the line because that would be silly.
The attraction of that is there's nothing to it.
There's
really
no real attraction. It's just protecting Mahal as the champions until they go to India. They go to India a couple of days beforehand.
Here's the thing, though.
Do you have Mahal lose a couple of days before they go to India to Brock Lesnar?
As long as he goes to India as WWE champion, which you won't be defending in Survivor Series, if that's the case, then you think it'd be a safe bet on Brock.
But does it still look good a couple of days before they go there for him to lose to Brock Lesnar?
It doesn't matter if he's still WWE champion. Actually, thinking of it that way, it does make it makes sense that Brock will go over, and then no matter what the result is, it doesn't change the fact that Mahal will still go to India as WWE champion. Yeah,
these matches normally end in disqualification anyway, so
so we'll see what happens. Yeah. Let's move on very quickly to 205 Live and NXT. Just get through that very quickly. Now, as we mentioned on Raw, Enzo Amore, just with Daivari this time, came out saying and said he roasted the coffee bean that is Kalisto the night before, claiming that he rebuilt the cruiserweight division. He said that he'll be the one who stands tall to a TLC. Kalisto then came out to attack Enzo, which he eventually made him retreat. Jack Gallagher took on Rich Swann with Brian Kendrick and Cedric Alexander at ringside. The match was stopped after Kendrick and Alexander attacked Swann on the outside, but Alexander managed to fight off Kendrick and Gallagher with Swann, and it was announced later that Kendrick and Gallagher will face Swann and Alexander at TLC. Should be an interesting match. Drew Gulak, again, mentioning nothing about Enzo, continuing his PowerPoint presentation, saying that rules must be followed before saying he'll be giving everyone a special refresher course on Sunday. I imagine it means TLC. So, please be at the pre-show. I'm just saying.
It is.
Kalisto and Mustafa Ali then took on Ariya Daivari and Enzo Amore. In the end of a very good match, Kalisto pinned Enzo after Salita del Sol. After the match, though, Kalisto and Ali continued to go after Daivari and Enzo before refs separated them. So, these two guys, they're both, that's what I like about Mustafa Ali. He's a really good face. In particular, he doesn't play innocent or anything like that. He goes for you if he's angry. I loved his rivalry with Drew Gulak earlier on this year. He can go. I'd love to see him challenge for the title soon. So which could be the case if Enzo wins.
Could be. I don't follow it. I don't care. Yeah. I'm sorry.
No.
I don't care about 205 Live.
Well, let's talk about NXT then. You care about that, right?
Yeah, sure. No, I'm not saying it's a bad thing that I want you to move on. By all means, talk more.
Yeah, I know.
It's just I can't give a viable opinion because I can't even watch the highlights of 205 Live. It's just nothing there attracts me because I just know that it's all circulating around the title, that it's the next person up sort of thing.
No, well, I don't completely agree with you because then they wouldn't.
I know they have some of their own storylines because they have to have it because it is still a 45-minute show. They need to have other matches. They need to be reasoning behind the other matches.
There's small little intriguing bits outside of the title, So I don't necessarily agree that it's all about the title.
Yeah, they're just not. They're not being able to do what they want. A lot of these guys are from.
You're right.
A lot of these guys are from the Indies, and the matches they put on the Indies are incredible. Cedric Alexander is probably one of the best guys in the Indies in America before he went to WWE, and he is a shadow of himself, I'd say. So I've seen some of his matches and what he's done on those matches.
It's glimpses. It's glimpses at best. I agree with you in that
WWE the style of WWE is really hurting him. Like I said, though, if you have a young family and you want to stay in the States, it's the best place to go.
Yeah, so I think no matter how what way he's booked, he won't complain as such. Like, so at the end of the day, it's a living, it's his family, so on and so forth.
Exactly. I don't know if he has a young family or not. I'm just saying if you do.
If you did, yeah.
If you do.
But anyway, NXT. So Sonya Deville, Amber Moon, and Ruby Riott face each other in a triple threat match to earn a place in the Fatal 4-Way Women's Title match at NXT Houston.
Yeah.
Very good match. All three women gave a very good showing of themselves. Actually, Sonya Deville's actually really improved. Like, you know, aside from the shadow box, we may have criticised her over. She actually can go. She's actually a very good wrestler.
She can go. Yeah, of course she can.
Amber Moon gave Sonya Deville her eclipse before pinning Ruby Riott for the win, and then later on, William Regal announced that a battle royal will take place next week to decide the last contender for the women's title match. It includes almost all the people for the ladies who competed in the Mae Young Classic, and the likes of Billy Ray and Ali and people like that. So it should be interesting. Now, security footage showed the Undisputed Era trying to convince Roderick Strong to join them by giving him their t-shirt, but Strong seemed to pass by giving Adam Cole back the t-shirt, so still a bit of speculation of whose side Strong is on. Aleister Black took on Raul Mendoza. Velveteen Dream appeared at ringside, which distracted Black at the start, and despite a very good showing from Mendoza, I love his high flying, actually.
That's really good.
That got corkscrew moonsault he did to Black. Very impressive. Black still beat him after this Black Mass kick. During an interview, Drew McIntyre said that he worked himself to the bone to get back where he is in WWE and now being NXT champion. Salita Vega, Andrade Almas's manager, interrupted the interview though, saying that McIntyre and Almas have a lot in common and questioned McIntyre for avoiding to fight Almas. McIntyre challenged Vega to come back with Almas so he can face him for a challenge if he wants one. So I loved his response to that, actually. Cassius Ohno took on Brazil Cesar Barboni. Pretty simple match, but Ohno beat Barboni.
It wasn't very eventful, really, was it?
Yeah,
it seems just a filler match.
Pretty much, yeah. And then the Undisputed Era took on Sandy in a very entertaining 6-man tag team match. It looked like Sandy was going to finish off Adam Cole after he was cornered by Santy after both Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly were down, until the Officer Payne returned, attacking Sanity and forcing the match to be stopped, and AOP continued attacking Sanity and eventually holding up the NXT tag team titles. So I'm glad to see Officer Payne back. Although you weren't sure what would happen to him, stuff like that. It's great to see him back. And I like to think that the reason they weren't around for that much longer is or for the while since they lost the titles. Maybe they're just given a rest, or maybe given time to improve.
True.
Personal absence, know yourself. We know obviously as on top of the Battle Royale, Johnny Gargano will be wrestling against Fabian Aichner in 2 weeks' time as well. So that's our results of the week. So when we return, we will continue our show with our question of the week right after the short break.
You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows, visit electronicmediacollective.com.
Back here on 90.3 Near FM with the Kickouts, your weekly pro wrestling guides. So let's continue on our show now with this week's question of the week.
They think they got the answers, I think the questions.
So this week we asked all our listeners what are the best and worst theme songs to come that they've ever heard, and thank you very much for the responses. We got a lot of great reactions. First of all, let's talk about each other right now. So there's probably so much we can talk about in terms of really good themes, but
of course,
it's one of these ones, like, we always have the same theme really when we get to the question of the week, where it's very easy to find the good ones, but it's not as easy to find the bad ones, Well,
I wouldn't say it's not easy to find the good ones,
but it would be the first thing.
But it's easy to find one, it's hard to find the other one.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean. Some weeks it's easier to find the bad ones than it is the good ones.
That's it.
Obviously, one off the bat for me.
Best or worst?
For best,
yeah.
When you hear that glass break,
of course, Stone Cold.
Yeah, of course, that was the childhood for me. Was hearing that glass break, crowd going mental because Stone Cold's on his way down to the ring. Fantastic, love it.
It's just an adrenaline rush, because the idea of stuff of like a glass breaking, it's a shock sometimes, especially when it comes out.
Exactly, and it's one of those theme musics that you don't see a lot nowadays. That it's that instant, as soon as you hear it, it's like straight away you know who's coming, and you get that pop and you get that excitement straight away because something's happening.
There's some themes like that nowadays, I don't want to compare any theme to someone nowadays,
But
or certainly with the same reaction.
Yeah, nothing that has such a strong intro, you know.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't compare anything nowadays that would have the same reaction, but you could see it in a sense. For example, look at Roman Reigns' theme, for example. Now, I'm not saying his is any value compared to Stone Cold's. I'm saying because as soon as you hear the first do, people instantly boo.
I was thinking,
or whatever reacts like, you know.
I was thinking because when I with my mindset of that was, it was the glass breaking, then it was going into the song, so it was something. It was a start, then it goes into the theme music.
Yeah.
So for me, if you wanted to get it similar to nowadays, I would actually say John Cena's.
Yeah, even John Cena's.
You know the bit at the start with yeah, exactly. You know that straight away.
Yeah.
You know, maybe even Dean Ambrose's one with the chainsaw. I think it's the chainsaw.
That's not a chainsaw.
Is it a chainsaw? What is it?
It's an engine.
Is it a lawnmower?
It's an engine.
Is it
It's supposed to be an engine.
Alright.
Chainsaw.
You know, Seth Rollins to an extent could be. Now they obviously have it broken up.
Maybe.
You know, possibly.
But anyway, one that I've always have a soft spot for was always Triple H's Motorhead.
Yeah,
the game,
of course.
Like you know, as much as the theme in itself was great, but once Motorhead's covered it, you could listen to that intro so many times, you know, in particular, like, you know, again, that's another one. As soon as you hear the boom, like, you know, straight away, like that first chorus go through, it's awesome to listen to. Other great ones, like one I want to mention, the Ultimate Warriors.
Yes,
you know, because that, like, you know, now we talk about high energy themes that get the crowd going. Like, it may not have like the instant reaction, like or the adrenaline rush that Stone Cold have, but by God, can it drive a crowd home? Yeah. So, like, you could like ones for cheesy reasons, like, you know.
Well, like there was, what other really good ones was there? Like, I always loved Chris Benoit.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Chris Benoit was always good.
Which one do you prefer, with the vocals or without the vocals?
With the vocals.
I prefer without the vocals.
I like it with the vocals.
The one
because it's just then it's not on that just loop. You know, which is good. There was a little change in it, which I liked.
Yeah, it's true.
Sort of similar why I really had a soft spot for Austin's one when it had the lyrics in it. Kane's when he had the music, so it was something different. Yeah.
That said, though, like, if the Benoit theme with the lyrics was done the same key as the original one, which I don't think it was, because I think it sounds way better in that key. Like, that's why I prefer that one. Like, you know, as good as the one with the vocals is, like, you know, makes more sense. And speaking of Stone Cold's themes, remember his Alliance team?
Was that mixed with Triple H's?
No, that was it was the one where it had like. It was completely different song to his original one. It was the song.
Oh yes, it went straight into the lyrics.
No. There was no singing it at all. It was
It
was the theme he had when he was in the Alliance, when he had his rivalry with Kurt Angle. It was and all the way down up to, I think, Vengeance, when he became face again.
I can't find it. See if you can find it. While you're looking at it, we actually got a good response from a few people about best and worst, or even actually, Dave. Before I move on to that, do you have a worst that you just did not like?
The worst theme. See, for me it's hard because, like, you know, there's so many cheesy themes that I like. There's so many. Like, for the ones that you wouldn't like, it just make no sense or just incredibly obnoxious or annoying. The best example I can think of is The Right to Censor. Yeah. Because although the story for it is very funny.
Fantastic, yeah.
Like, for those who haven't heard, what exactly is the story again about it? So,
what was the story behind it? WWE were moved to a primetime television show. Yeah. Television segment. And there was characters like Val Venus, who was an ex-porn star, and the Godfather, who was a pimp with his hose, and the National Parents Alliance, or whatever, PTA or NPA or whatever, I don't know what they were called, but they complained to WWE saying that these characters were not fit for their kids to see. So WWE and they pointed out Val Venus and the Godfather. So what they did was Stevie Richards came up with the idea, why don't we just be a piss take of these guys? be the right to censor, and then that's when they got Godfather to become the Good Father, and they hated fun pretty much. Anything to do anything untoward, and they hated.
What's so annoying about that team is that for me it's the opposite of Stone Cold's.
Yeah.
No one wants to hear sirens. No one wants to hear alarms. That's why we turn them off as soon as we wake up.
Yeah.
It's so obnoxious, and we don't want to hear it. That's why it got such a. That's why they were the most hated. They were so hated back then. Like as a result of that. Like I think.
Oh, they were so.
I imagine most of the reason they were famous, as well as cheating a lot. Like the theme was just so horrible, and no one wants to listen to it. Like so.
Yeah.
So that'd be my worst one anyway. Like, what about yourself? See, it's hard, isn't it?
It is really hard. You mentioned a few to me, and when I heard them, I remember, and I thought how they were awful.
Do you want me to play the one that I think you dislike the most?
Go for it.
Oh, it's this one. I can't stand this either. Hang on.
I got everything I wanted, and I'll never give that back. Oh, I know you hate that back, but you ain't gotta look at me like that. I said you ain't gotta look at me.
I'm blowing this down. I can't bear it.
It just sends like a horrible shiver down your spine, doesn't it?
Literally. Oh, it's so cringeworthy, isn't it? Oh,
Yeah.
For those who don't know, that was X Factor. Like, for those who don't know, X Factor was like a between WrestleMania 17 and the Alliance storyline. There were X-Pac teamed up with Albert and Just Incredible, and that was one of 3 theme songs. They actually changed it very quickly to one that their themes in general weren't the greatest. Like, they had 3 themes. I didn't think highly of any of them, but that was by far the worst.
It was really, really bad. Oh,
That's
you know who's
it.
bad was whose
The only good
theme was really bad actually. Heidenreich's.
Right? Really?
Yeah, it was just Heidenreich. Heidenreich. Heidenreich.
Oh no, I like the military sound to it. Here's Stone Cold's theme actually now they found it, by the way. That theme.
I don't remember this.
Don't remember this?
No. Maybe it was a repressed memory because it was so bad.
Well, it was during. Bear in mind this was Stone Cold Steve Austin's heel, which nowadays.
But see now, I always
goes back to not very
associated
good reviews.
Steve Austin's heel music with is when he put lyrics into his original one.
No, but he came back from his neck surgery with the.
I know,
the
but
surfacing.
that's just how my brain associated it because he had that when he turned heel, like that WrestleMania 17 show when he first turned heel. That was the music. It had the lyrics in it.
Yeah, true.
But this is pretty bad.
You don't like this?
I don't like it.
Oh, I love it. I actually really like this theme.
I don't like this at all, man.
Evil crickets, no. Okay. Fair.
Anyway, let's get into the list of people that were so nice to get back to us.
Again, thank you very much for all the responses. Chris Morrow got on to us, said the best Batista.
Good one.
That's a very
has
good call.
that strong opening and then changes, and it's really good throughout.
And that's
with the big yeah.
Yeah, it's both his themes I thought were excellent. Even the one before, who sang? I don't know who sang it. Like,
don't ask me who sang it.
But in particular the main theme. Yeah. He said his worst was Emma's first theme.
Very good call. Very good call.
We'll give that a play now, just to see what he's on about there.
While you're doing that, I'll go on to the next one. Laura Baird, I should say. Thank you. Worst one, You Look So Good to Me by Billy and Chuck. I love that theme.
That one.
It was so good.
Laura, what are you talking about? We love that. I get why you'd pick that.
Yeah.
It's very cheesy. It's very boy bandish, but it made their character.
No, it was brilliant.
Here's Emma's one while we're on the subject. It's basically like a.
It's like the beginning of our current one, but it doesn't change. And that's when she was doing the whole hand thing like that. Yeah.
When she was doing the Daniel Sturge impressions, like, so.
Not great.
Let's
just be thankful she doesn't have that anymore. And then her best is Personal Jesus by Pastor William Lever, which is perfect for a character. It's brilliant.
No, I happen to know Laura, and I happen to know she's a huge fan of Pastor William Lever, so it's a good call. I want to play this Billy and Chuck theme because it's from the starts. I mean, it's one of these teams you just want to break your shirt off like to it and just rub baby oil on you or something like that.
What?
Did I say it out loud?
Dave.
I'll turn it off. Let's move on. Miriam Nakeba got in touch and said, worst hands down, The Big Show.
guess it was a little plain, yeah. It's a big show, big bad show tonight.
Here's the thing, yeah, but I'm
It's
on
more
the fence with this one.
I think it's at this stage it's more iconic because it's been around for so long.
Do you prefer his original version or the one with the rest of your vocals?
I think the vocals. Yeah,
The original one?
I love the one with the vocals. The
recent one, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, I prefer the older one actually.
Really?
There, so
Okay. We'll move on. And David Cullen, obviously, of other pastures in Ireland. I think around Wexford he's from.
Indeed, yeah.
Worst
David.
girls in cars for Strike Force. Can't say I know this one.
I'll play this one. I heard this the other day. It's one of these cheesy 80s ones.
Okay.
I personally don't think it's that bad, but go on.
I have to commend. I love his best one.
What?
Line in the Sand by Evolution.
Oh, it's as good as it
Fantastic
gets.
song.
It's as good as it gets. Here it is anyway.
Yeah, it's a bit plainy, sort of. Yeah. What time? When was this around?
This was maybe the late 80s, yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
So for those who don't know, Strike Force was a tag team of Tito Santana and Rick Martel,
Yeah.
who went on to be WWE Tag Team Champions in their reign as well. Very successful tag teams. So, but no, Evolution, Line in the Sand. I mean, you can't really ask for that's a really good one actually. So. Packer Wyatt got in touch saying, in WWE it's hard to narrow it down as there's so many I love, but I've got to go with The Undertaker's theme. Outside WWE, British Strong Style, Jurgen Simmons, Shane Strickland and the Kings of the North. All huge shouts.
Yeah.
Kings
Jurgen
of the North.
Simmons, fantastic. Yeah. British Strong Style, obviously.
Oh,
yeah.
I love that song. Like, you know.
Kings of the North are fantastic. Both versions are fantastic.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. I can't complain with any of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously didn't say a bad one because it's hard to think of a bad one.
Again, isn't it?
It's really hard. But we'll move on to Andrew McMahon's one. And worse has to be this garbage of Undertakers you're going to pay, going in from something so iconic to Limp Bizkit to something that's even more trash when it has to make it worse. So it's obviously not a fan of Badass Taker.
It's interesting.
American Badass
It's
Taker.
interesting because the Undertaker's there's a variation of themes that like we could say are bad and worse. Like I agree where he's coming from with the gonna pay one. I think that's by far and away the worst team Undertaker's had in my personal opinion.
Which one was that now?
That was the last one he had under his American Badass theme.
Yeah.
Like under in the American Badass gimmick. So when he faced Vince in the Buried Alive match, that was his theme.
Yeah, it was pretty bad actually. I just remember it now.
Yeah.
Like his American Badass teams, obviously they weren't the greatest. Like,
They're covers.
obviously, yeah. Limp Bizkit's was obviously it gets the iconic because that was the most well known one. But Kid Rock's one though.
Yeah.
What about Kid Rock? His when he first came back.
Yes, I thought it was good. Well, one of my personal favorite though is The Undertaker's Ministry of Darkness theme. I have a huge hot soft spot for that because it's so evil.
Yeah,
it's so demonic. Like, you know, I'm more than okay with that theme anyway. Now I love this next answer because I love the detail of it from a Marcus Alexi Copperheaty, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Best for me is Christian Cage's Takeover, composed by Dale Oliver for his total non-stop action wrestling years, especially the Victory Road 06 pay-per-view version, which he had the extended intro to. I love his detail, by the way. Yeah. A real made-to-order theme song for a world champion. Such an uplifting and motivating track. I'll give that one a play just so I can find a... Get into his
he goes into his worst, and his worst is probably World Wrestling Federation's right to censor, like you mentioned. Censorship by Jim Johnson, annoying, and there is no other way to say it, which is fair, which you said earlier on. Now, can I give you an alternative answer as well for a really, really good one?
Okay. That
has just come into my mind now. I don't know whether you can class them as themes or in a promos or not.
Right.
Joe Henry.
No, as bad or good?
Good.
Because there's so many.
Very good.
Well, here's the thing. There's so many.
Obviously, the recent one was Sabu. Fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't seen it, go to Joe Henry Sabu and see it. It's brilliant. Called How Do I Live with Sabu. Fantastic.
Yeah. Or
I think his best one is when he did it at the show at the SSE Hydro last year.
When he did the Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody one. Brilliant.
There's one other one that he did that I thought was very funny. The one where he made fun of Dalton Castle. It wasn't for ICW. It was for I don't know what the wrestling promotion was. Discovery Wrestling, I think. I don't know if they're in the UK. If we're in the UK, they're in. But like here's Dalton Castle, who at the end going, God, that was spectacular. Like, this is, and here's a guy who's like a real showman. So you imagine it'd be hard to please.
Did you obviously saw the highlights of the Global Wars events last week?
Bits and pieces.
Did you see the bits and pieces that Dalton Castle did with Cody Rhodes?
I didn't know.
Cody Rhodes took a fan out of the... He gave a promo and afterwards he took a fan out and took a selfie with him saying, "Oh, are you having a great time? You get a selfie with the Ring of Honor champion," and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Took off the mask, it was Dalton Castle. Supposedly, Dalton Castle kept that mask on and stood in line with everyone else all day.
That's dedication.
That is sticking to kayfabe, right? That is fantastic.
That's why I can't wait to see Dalton. I can't wait to see him in December for being delayed. Here's Christian Cage's theme now. This actually is a class team. Have you heard this before?
No.
This is when he was in TNA. He won the TNA World Title, or it's still the NWA World Title back then. So when Jeff Jarrett and Sting and all them were there.
It's good. Yeah, it's good.
When you think about his character, like before that, it's spot on if you ask me. So no, I think Marcus is spot on there with that one. Like so to conclude now, like again, going back to what we said, like it's one of these ones where we could pick so many great ones. We have to find. I'm gonna have one more search for some bad ones to see what else I can find before we go though, because I feel we're missing out on one or two ones right now. Oh, here's one I want to bring up actually. Stephanie McMahon's team. Her one at the moment.
You don't like it?
I'm not a fan.
I like her current one. You prefer her Little Kim one?
Oh, by far.
Yeah.
Oh, by a country mile and far.
I don't. I really like this one. It's just perfect heel one, so it works great for her.
Yeah, but there's heel, but there's also, it just feels obnoxious and for the wrong reasons. Rob Conway, there's another one.
Ooh.
I'll play it though for those who don't know. Talking of obnoxious.
Just look at me.
No, thank you. Okay, no,
it's just funny because it's like a Randy Newman song.
That's exactly.
It's good, you know. It probably would have gotten over better if he was actually somewhat over with the crowd.
I want to play one more before we go. I'm not playing anymore. I feel so sorry for you right now.
That just reminded me of another one that I don't like.
What?
And that was Brodus Clay.
Oh yeah.
Somebody Call My Mama.
The thing about that theme, that's been reused so many times. That's probably one of the most used themes in WWE history. Because Ernest Miller had that theme. I think it was used in a good few promos for like small little bits, maybe. Big Dick Johnson.
Then Naomi and all that used it too, and Naomi and Cameron, I think it was.
Yeah. Here's one I just want to bring up very quickly. Rey Mysterio's one for POD.
What?
Yeah, I thought it was a good one. No, it says here it's bad. I'm looking at the website where it's saying it's bad. It's like, no, it's class.
I don't remember that one.
I'll play it for you now.
That was POD?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was POD.
What do you think it was? That's class.
That is so iconic. Why would that be considered bad?
I don't know. I disagree with that one.
I didn't know that was POD though.
See, it's again, it's one of these things where it's so divided in opinion. We could be here all day. Like, you know, we disagree on a few. I just like Stephanie's. You like it. You like it. What do you like that I don't like? You mentioned one there.
That I like that you don't like.
Yeah.
Stephanie Mangs.
No, there's another one. That I like that you don't like.
Oh, we should really remember this, shouldn't we?
Yeah. In conclusion, though. There's so many the ones we agree. There's obvious ones to like. Again, there's obvious ones to dislike. I think the biggest dislike one is probably between Right to Censor and X Factor. Those are brutal.
Yeah, pretty much.
Whereas the adrenaline catching one, such as John Cena and
well, see, the John Cena one was so iconic because, like I said, it was similar to Stone Cold's, where it had this really, really strong opening, and then could go into the song afterwards.
Yeah,
because like obviously Steve Austin had the glass breaking. John Cena had the whatever that thing is, like the woo or whatever.
Yeah,
I can't mimic it. Kane's somewhat similar. Actually, remind me of Monday because you just hear the organ and then goes into the song afterwards. You know, But yeah, definitely Steve Austin though.
Absolutely, yeah.
For me.
So we can conclude that. And thanks again so much for all the responses to our question of the week. We'll have another one coming soon. Now let's continue on with our previews of the week.
What? Look at what we have here, folks!
So first of all, we're going to talk about Celtic Championship Wrestling, who will be back at the 4 Penrose Quay in Cork on Saturday 28th of August, next Saturday, for the Celtic Chainsaw Massacre. To tell us more about it now, joining us on the line from Cork, CCW promoter Lee Callahan. Lee, thanks for joining us here in the Kickouts.
Hi Dave, thanks for having me.
Thanks very much. Now, first of all, before I get to the pay-per-view, how's things down in Cork on the back of the storm? Is everything okay with you guys, or how's things over there at the moment?
Yeah, things are fine again. I know that there was a lot of there was actually a school roof blown off, but I think that was probably the worst thing that happened down here. Okay,
so it wasn't too bad. Like, there wasn't too many damage done by the school, so.
No. Well, obviously, look, there was a bit of a power outage and stuff in certain parts of the county, but other than that, I think we're okay.
Okay, cool. I'm glad to hear that all yours are safe down there. But let's get to the actual show itself now. It's a huge card, a stacked card from top to bottom. We'll get to the three-way tag team match first. The Armstrongs will take on Flight Modes, the team of Axel Jeffries and Matt Schuyler, and the Spanish team of A-Kid and Adam Chase.
Yeah, I suppose, look, this is a match that we had over the summer tour.
Mm-hmm.
On the summer tour, we do multiple dates, and it gives us a chance to kind of see what kind of matches work. And this is one of the ones that worked in front of our family audiences. And we just found that it's probably going to work even better in an over-18s audience. A lot of the guys that are in this match are in the prime of their wrestling career, so to speak. So it's definitely going to be a good one. And especially, it's great to have that international flavour, bringing in A-Kid and Adam Chase as well. I know that they've had a lot of experience lately in Shikara and other promotions like that. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be a good one. You've got a mix of styles. So you've got high flying, you got a bit of comedy, you got everything really.
Absolutely. So definitely an interesting match. Another very interesting match is the veteran Vic Viper to take on the Scottish prodigy Lewis Garvin.
Yeah. Of course, anyone that knows anything about Irish wrestling knows that Vic Viper is an Irish wrestling legend.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're fortunate enough to have him back since the Celtic Rumble last year, and he's going to face, I guess, a guy that's stars on the rise at the moment, doing a lot of stuff in European wrestling, Lewis Garvin, and I guess he's looking for his first CCW win, which he's been in CCW a long time now, and he hasn't been able to get that W. I suppose just kind of a tribute to the talent that we have in CCW. So he's hoping to beat Vic Viper on October 28th to get his very first victory.
Yeah, he's been very unlucky in his last few matches. I remember seeing his match. I think it was against Bren when you guys had him on CCW, and he was very close to coming with the victory then. But in this case, he seems to be pushing in the right direction. So it's only a matter of time by the looks of things.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, maybe it will be in October 28th. We'll see.
Absolutely. Moving on.
He'll certainly have his work cut out for him anyway.
Absolutely, you can say that again. Another very interesting match. The team of CCW champion Pastor William Ever and Chuck Mambo, a.k.a. Sweet Jesus, will take on the team of Rough Stuff.
Yeah, so we saw on the last show that Chuck Mambo made a CCW debut.
Mm-hmm.
And, Chuck and the Pastor have been tagging for years, and they proved that they're a well-oiled unit against Bingo Balance and Bruiser last month. So yeah, they've. I suppose while we're waiting for the heavyweight championship main event at our Christmas show on December 16th, there is no number one contender except for Jody, who won the Celtic Rumble. So in the meantime, I think that Pastor William Ever and Chuck Mambo are trying their hats in the tag division.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Maybe the Pastor's going to try and become a dual champion at some point.
Sure, why not?
They're going to be facing Rough Stuff, who've been pretty dominant in the tag team division as of late, and certainly they have multiple tag team titles in Irish wrestling, so it's going to be a good one.
Absolutely, definitely an intriguing match. Certainly ramifications for the tag titles in future. Speaking of championships, the CCW women's title is on the line. Raven Creed will be defending her title against Debbie Cattell.
Yeah, I guess the odds are stacked against Debbie in this one. Really, when you get Raven Creed, you get Therapy, you get Billy Bedlam, you get Lauren LaRue. So, I'm sure the fans are going to be. I know that he's proven in a short time in this business that she's a very popular female wrestler in Ireland now already.
Absolutely.
So I'm sure they'll be behind her on October 28th. It's going to be a good one. Again, just like the tag team division, the women's division is really, really strong here in CCW and in Ireland as a whole. So, you're expect another hard-hitting match. These girls don't hold back, and certainly you're going to see that on October 28th.
I certainly can't wait for that match. A very intriguing match I've noticed. Now, Ricky Combat now, who for me is one of the best performers in Ireland at the moment this year, like in my opinion, he's taking on Luke King Sharp, who last few events I've seen him, like he's creating a lot of heat with the crowd, like, so it's just a very intriguing match.
Yeah, I guess, Ricky is fortunate enough to have faced a who's who in wrestling, not just in Ireland, but also in European and the world of wrestling. There's a lot of guys on NXT now that have faced Ricky in the past. There's a lot of guys that are in the top of the UK scene as well, and not just that in companies like WXW in Germany that he's faced. So, he's one of those guys that really has a diverse style, and he can face any type of opponent, be it, high flying, as we saw in that Fatal 4-Way, Super Larietto brothers against, the likes of Will Ospreay and Jordan Devlin.
Absolutely.
Or, if it's against, a kind of maybe a guy the same size and like Fabian Eichner. So, it's going to be an interesting one to see what Luke King Sharp's going to come up with, like, considering the fact that he's probably going to be outweighing him by about 200 pounds. Probably.
Yeah, and probably lower than a foot or something like that, like, but compared to height as well. So
exactly, yeah. But not to be taken for granted, Luke King Sharp has also been in the business for a good few number of years as well. So it's going to be an interesting one.
Absolutely, very intriguing match. Like, certainly, like the bigger against the smaller guy for sure. Now, one of the definitely a very intriguing match is the All-Star 4-Way match. Is this for the All-Star title, by the way, between Danny Butler, Sabu, Bruiser, and Chris Renfrew?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
This is for the CCW All-Star Championship. Danny the Beast Butler puts his championship on the line against Chris Renfrew, against Bruiser, and against Sabu. So, it's going to be, we've listed the card already, and in its own right would be a super card, but to bring this into the mix as well, this match, and especially to have a legend in the hardcore icon, I suppose, the homicidal, suicidal, genocidal, death-defying maniac Sabu. It's not just a privilege for the fans, but certainly for me personally to have someone the level of Sabu. I grew up watching Sabu, and it's going to be an amazing match. And of course, his manager Super Genie will be in his corner as well. But even speaking of Sabu, even more local to that, I mean, the Beast, Renfrew, and Bruiser are no strangers to going to the extreme as well. So it's definitely going to be a hard-hitting extreme match. Absolutely.
You're saying like how Sabu is like one of the big influence and a big pleasure in particular to bring to CCW. Is he the type of superstar you want to bring to the shows, especially the Riot shows, like more often, like especially nowadays that you're trying to encourage more of a hardcore audience?
Well, yeah, I guess, that guys like Sabu, they're kind of the mecca of what of what we're all about. We're professional wrestling, but we're with a hardcore edge to it. We're I guess a controversial product in the sense that we explore themes that aren't really being explored anymore, and for that, I guess sometimes you can be on the receiving end of getting some heat, but we're only doing it to appeal to, the audience that's there, and the over 18s audience. They're a fan base that aren't looking for just wrestling. They're also looking for something just a little bit more. Don't get me wrong.
I see what you mean.
We will provide wrestling in a huge abundance, and it's amazing how far Irish wrestling has come because we have some of the best wrestlers in the world. But also as well, we like to put that little edge on the product as well, and that is definitely what you're going to see if you bring the likes of a Sabu into into the mix, or even still the likes of a Danny the Beast Butler, Chris Renfrew, Bruiser in their own right as well. They're going to take it to that next level.
Absolutely.
And give the fans something that they haven't seen before.
Absolutely, it's definitely something to look forward to. And of course, the main event's like a very intriguing match between probably the king of death matches in Jimmy Havoc will take on probably the local king of death matches in Lycan. Like that's probably has a bloodbath written all over it.
Yeah. And like again, like Dave, as we spoke about, how big the card is, then you layer on this match on top of that. Probably, when you talk about death matches now, certainly in the mainstream, you talk about Jimmy Havoc. He won the Tournament of Death this year, and he's facing a guy who I think has gotten a lot of heat over the years for being a hardcore wrestler and working that style. But I think in the recent years, and certainly in the last 2-3 years, he went out there and he's proved that, he's also one of those guys who can hang at a wrestling level as well. But we're going to be throwing that out the window on October 28th because it's going to be a death match, and it's going to be nothing like the first death match that we had in Waterford in 2014. It's going to be, let's just put it this way, even the ring is going to be altered. Everything is going to be,
oh dear,
it's going to be completely unique. It's never going to, it's something that you've never seen in Irish wrestling, maybe not even UK wrestling, and it's certainly something that you'll probably never see ever again.
Oh my God,
in Irish wrestling anyway.
Certainly in Irish wrestling, like especially if you're going, I can only imagine what idea you have for the ring, So all the more reason to check it out on October 28th in the 4 Penrose Quay for the Celtic Chainsaw Massacre. There's still tickets available for the event on eventbrite.ie. Lee, pleasure as always speaking to you. Thanks very much for taking the call. I know you're a busy man this evening, but thanks again. Wish you all the best of luck next week, and we'll talk to you again soon.
No worries, Dave. Thanks a million. And just to say on closing there is limited general admission tickets. In fact, the actual VIP ringside seats sold out a month in advance. So
okay.
They're gone. But if people want to meet Sabu as well, it's just an additional €20 add on, and you get a professional photo and autograph as well with the legend himself.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah, that's perfect. Listen, Dave, thanks a million for having me.
Pleasure as always. And that was Lee Callahan from CCW, where we were talking about Celtic Chainsaw Massacre. It's happening next week in Cork. Really can't wait for that show.
Such a really good lineup, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it? So really, I love about it as well. It's such a extreme. It's such a it's one of these environments you just want to be there for.
Yeah, I'm a little jealous I can't make it down next week.
Yeah,
I'm be sure I'll be down for the next one though.
For sure. Now, before we move on, we'll just want to talk about some other previews coming up over the next couple of weeks. OTT will have their All Ages show, which we mentioned last week, as part of the Wexford Spiegelten Festival, happening on Sunday, October 29th in number 1 North Main Street in Wexford. You can still get your tickets available for that in wexfordspiegeltents.com. OTT then next Saturday will be having their OTT Vendetta at the usual spot in the Tivoli Theatre in Dublin, November 4th.
Not next Saturday, Saturday 2 weeks.
Saturday 2 weeks. Sorry,
Saturday
2 weeks.
Today 2 weeks. Yeah.
Excuse me, my bad. Tickets are still available on eventbrite.ie. Matches announced so far include Mark Haskins against Travis Banks. That's going to be a hell of a match.
I saw that announced during the week and I popped. I can't wait for that.
That's a hell of a match. Jordan Devlin to face Matt Riddle. The winner of that match will face the NLW champion, that being the Elite. Also announced during the week, Charlie Sterling and Zach Gibson to take on Curtis Murray and Nathan Martin. That should be a very interesting match, especially on the back of Gibson's comments, where he's trying to limit all the Irish wrestlers. So it should be very interesting.
It's funny, how it's just the way the gimmicks are at the moment. Jordan Devlin's the import killer, and
Zach Gibson's the export killer.
Is he's not really.
Actually, no, he is the.
He's the ex-Irish killer.
He's the Irish killer.
Yeah, you could say the Irish killer. Yeah.
I suppose. CCW Wired champion Joey Janela, the Session Martina, Angel Cruz, and the Kings of North are all set to appear. It was also announced this week by OTT that Will Ospreay will not be able to appear at Being the Elites due to conflicts with schedules. But it was announced that British Strong Style will be there to appear as well. So that works out for us.
Yeah, it sucks because they did announce his match already. It was going to be a triple threat, I think, between himself. Was it Ray Phoenix and Flip Gordon?
And that was going to be a good match.
So it might just be a one-on-one between Phoenix and Gordon, which is totally okay as well.
Absolutely.
Totally fine. Did you see his match with Jordan Devlin? Or not Jordan Devlin. Sorry. Did you see his match with Will Ospreay yet?
Whose match with Will Ospreay?
Flip Gordon's.
No, not yet.
Watch it.
I will.
Watch it. So good.
Now, also, Uprising Wrestling in Belfast are coming back on Sunday, 5th of November at the Europa Hotel in Belfast for Rise to the Throne. Tickets are available on eventbrite.co.uk. Well, I like it like this because they're doing like a King of the Ring style tournament. It's a 8-man tournament where they're having people, all their best prospects in. So far, Gavin Fitz, Curtis Murray, Angel Cruz and Eddie Stone are confirmed for the tournaments. Also announced, Amy Alonzi will take on Debbie Cattell, Jordan Devlin will take on Scotty Davis, and the team of Adam Maxhead and Stephen Carvel will take on the Kings in the North.
Was there not another match announced for that? Or was I wrong?
No, they had a different announcement for all the wrestlers on the YouTube page, but I think that's it. So
was it not? Was Justy not announced?
No, that was in.
That was a different event.
That was PW.
Yeah, that was a different event. Sorry, my bad.
No, he is announced to face
Flash Morgan Webster. That's
we'll have a preview for PW coming very soon. In the meantime, we'll finish off our show now with our yes nos.
Yes, no! Yes, no! Yes, no!
So not too many this week. We'll just get to them. So we talked about Neville and all the way he and so we're gonna try and conclude the way he left. Neville left due to the booking against Enzo.
I think not just Enzo.
That's one thing.
I think booking more in. I'd say no booking in general.
Booking in general, okay.
Yeah.
Like obviously that, and imagine the huge factor we talked about it. Like I think last week, you know, the pay situation, especially over WrestleMania. So, more wrestlers to leave WWE in the coming months. Now we talk about this with the indies, like and people how it is now. But do you think this could be a thing that can really keep going? Or it certainly depends who. I imagine it can't be too many, but
Neville could be the catalyst. He really could be. It's dangerous. It is dangerous. It's dangerous where people are going to go because there are wrestlers on that. Most notably ones being like Dolph Ziggler and stuff like that aren't getting used, aren't getting booked away. I would have said Sami Zayn as well, bar what just happened now with Kevin Owens. So there are wrestlers there that just aren't getting on programs, that aren't getting on shows. I could see them make the jump.
Why not? CM Punk to soon return to the UFC.
No.
There's speculation he could be making a fight again. UFC wouldn't.
He might fight again, but Dana White has said himself he doesn't want CM Punk to have his next fight in UFC because it's too big of a level for him.
Yeah, I think
which
so.
Is fine.
Yeah,
I totally
makes
agree
perfect
with that.
sense.
He's basically saying I would rather someone be safe than make money out of it.
That's it. Yeah, that's why I wouldn't book guys like BJ Penn anymore. Like, you know, because like
BJ Penn still gets booked. He only had a fight a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, but like there was
a couple of months ago.
But
he lost badly.
But yeah, that's the thing, because he lost badly a few times. He was very sketchy. Chuck Liddell, best example actually.
Well, age catches up. This is talent, though.
Yeah. Now here's one I'm not sure you'd be too interested in, but bear in mind, it's the Cruiserweight title to be redesigned.
No. People keep trying to fool other people by saying, oh, they just redesigned the Cruiserweight title. Oh, they just did. Like, they did it with Kalisto during the week. I know where you're getting it from. That was it was actually turned black. It's not getting redesigned.
I don't think it should.
Their whole thing is based that the Cruiserweight is purple.
Yeah, let's leave it like that.
They don't turn the ropes purple for Raw, okay, because they can't really this month because of the whole breast cancer awareness month. They have the pink rope.
Okay,
it just it would clash with the purple.
That's different.
It's not going to work.
Really, would it?
Yeah, that's why they don't have red ropes on Raw. They have white ones.
Oh, okay.
So so the pink pops.
Yeah, but
if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but it's interesting to say that because we watched NXT earlier on. The yellow ropes with the pink rope in the middle is kind of strange.
Yeah.
But
and like with SmackDown, the blue with the pink.
Yeah.
You know?
Finally, the Shields to turn heel.
Nope.
If they do turn heel, it can't be now.
No.
In general,
Roman
no.
is there. Roman's there. They're not turning heel.
And ever.
No.
There's a lot of speculation they could go heel at WrestleMania.
What's the point? I don't even think that...
We don't have to know now if that's the case.
I don't even see them lasting to WrestleMania.
Think so?
Yes. There's rumours going around that possibly that Dean Ambrose is the one that's going to turn heel on Seth Rollins that will lead to a WrestleMania match.
Okay. Oh, well, yes, there you go. That's probably what they meant by the Shield thing the whole time, maybe, but sure, we'll digress. Anyway, that's all the time we have for this week on The Kickouts, your weekly pro wrestling guides, right here on 90.3 Near FM, the Electronic Media Collective podcast network, and on all good podcasting providers. Make sure to check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/The Kickout Wrestling. Myself at Dave Bandana and Daragh on Mars Bars for all the latest news and content we cover today. And we'll be back next week live on Near FM. and the Electric
Through
Media Collective and
other podcasting platforms. Just if you ever want to find out where our podcasts are, just go to our Facebook page and you'll find all the links that you need to there.
Indeed. Now, before we go, to go in this one, now obviously we didn't cover it in the news, but we've discovered that Buddy Ray is in a particular situation with his career.
Seems to have retired. Yeah, we didn't mention it in the news, but he gave a promo signalling that he's ready to retire.
Yeah.
At Global Wars at Ring of Honor during the weekend. Also, just before we get to that, just to mention as well, our TLC prediction video will be up this Sunday.
Indeed.
As well, just before the pay-per-view. So it's still going on, the prediction league. I am still, I believe it's 9 points ahead. Last time I checked,
it's 12 points. I think.
Was it 12 or 9? I think it's 9, but I could.
Don't pretend you don't know.
No, actually, I don't. Sorry, I don't. We got all our predictions similar. No, they were actually the same. All our predictions
which I still think is too much of a coincidence.
For what was the event again?
Hell
in a Cell. Hell in a Cell. Thank you. And we still got a lot of them wrong too.
Yeah.
But rest assured, our predictions are not the same for this one, so there will be some difference in the points. And it'll be up this Sunday, of course, for your viewing pleasure. And let us know if you agree with them or not.
Indeed. So we're going to go out with Bully Ray. Like for one of his most recent entrances, which we thought was pretty cool, was when his War of the World the War of the Worlds entrance, when him and the Briscoes teamed up and he came through the crowd in the Hammerstein Ballroom, which of course is symbolic from his ECW days. So we thought we'd go out with that with the theme song. So until next week, I've been Dave Cullen. He's been Daragh Maher. This has been the Kick Out. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you again soon.